shortly. Here we go. So here in the south side, we have the unheard of Carthage bringing tons of skirmishing units here. 2 peltasts and 4 slingers, along with a lot of pikemen, Libyan infantry, and I don't think I see cav out of him. 1 cav, 1 noble cav, and that's it. Here on the north side, we have our this north side, we have our Rome, and it looks like he brought 4 cavalry, Sokai infantry, let's see, Praetorians. He brought a pretty standard army here. Some gladiators to back them up as force, and some elephants. So both of these guys bringing elephants instead of catapults or dogs or anything of the sort. Very cool to see Carthage. Never really see these guys. So Romsgay are going to be advancing forward. Both of these players trying to get to this left side here because there is a slight incline. They don't want to concede that to their opponent. So they're going to go ahead and take that up and march towards each other. Wisely here with the Praetorian Cav, trying to get all the way up here first to get the flanks, just to put a little bit of aggression here on Carthage. Now, Rome's going to have to do a really good job at taking care of his cavalry because there's so many missile units out of Carthage that this cavalry unit's really going to have to do a really good job at getting in there and taking out all of the slingers and all of the peltasts and making it out pretty clean. In return here, Carthage does not have many cavalry units, so it's going to be a really tough battle for him because he's going to have to really watch every single unit and make sure that these cav don't just wreak havoc in his lines. That's a disadvantage to bringing not too many cav, and he's getting pretty aggressive here, probably just trying to bait the Praetorian cav just a little bit closer. Both of these guys just sitting still. Looks like we're getting some pretty big delays here on these units, and we may have lost somebody. Just really big lag spikes here in this game. Hopefully no one drops. 1v1s are usually stable, but this is actually really slowing down. This battle got put into slow-mo. Once the engage happens, I'm pretty sure their computers will start speeding up. But it looks like here the peltasts advancing forward on archers, which is not good because these peltasts are going to get hit pretty hard before they even get into the engagement. And if Rome wanted to, he could just send his Praetorian cav along the sides and get in there with relative ease. So again, slowing down. Hopefully the engagement happens. If the engagement doesn't happen and they crash, then we'll go ahead and reset. But if everything's engaged, we'll have to just let it play out for the most part. But let's see. Let's see if they can even get there to that point. Peltas just crawling along the floor. Now starting to speed up a little bit. Carthage playing really tight and really close together. But they do have a lot of skirmishing units here. Rome here trying to make a move with this cavalry unit, trying to get in there and hit one of these missile units. He might just sacrifice it here against the noble cav. The noble cav is going to hit these Praetorian cav right from the sides. Really good job on that, but Rome still has this extra Praetorian cav, which he can choose to slam into any of these side flanks. And I think Carthage needs to move up his elephants here to brace some of this charge. Cavalry just trying to bait this Praetorian cav away from the rest of the units. Another noble cav popping out. He was hiding that somewhere there in the corner. And now the initial engagement's going to happen here. Rome advancing all of his Praetorian guards forward to go ahead and start engaging the main line, but he needs to be careful because this is a pike line that can definitely devastate his army relatively quickly. So he's probably not going to engage. He's probably just going to sit back and let his archers do most of the work. Here on the left-hand side, the Praetorian cav are getting hit now by the pikemen. He needs to actually advance forward with these pikes and get him going a little bit quicker. The cav fight here has been engaged. Praetorian cav onto noble cav. Noble cav, I think, are going to lose this one. But a little bit of support here out of his missile cav, so he might be able to pull that off, along with a lot of infantry support. So here up the middle, these pikes are chasing after Praetorian guards. But these Praetorian guards, what are these units doing? They're like twisted. How is that even possible? What? Okay. So it looks like they're showing their backs and their fronts at the same time. I don't know how that's insane. but it might actually prove to be well. Looks like they're taking equal casualties, though. But these pikemen are out here in the open, about to get hit on the side by gladiators. He needs to turn these guys, and these units here, looks like they're going to make it the last second to turn, but they do get engaged before making it into their pikes, and they're losing a lot of units because they're moving. He needs to set those still. Praetorian cavalry over here still barely surviving. A lot of missile units here need to do a lot of damage to these Praetorian line. But this unit just got completely sandwiched, outmaneuvered by 2 Praetorian guards. And this pikeman's going to die here pretty shortly here after this charge. Big back charge here by the Praetorian cav. And these pikes are just way too overextended, getting sandwiched on every front. Sandwiched here, sandwiched here. And now this cavalry here is going to look to try to engage the rest of the missile units. And these missile units have not been firing for too long. They're going to get... They're not making their cost worth. Only 1 kill here by these missile units. These units have 14. And it looks like he's choosing to actually charge... no, he's switching over. He is going to get caught here, though, by the... by cavalry units, but they're still going to make it into this line. Going to get tons of kills here on that charge. And just look at this melee fight here by the cavalry. He needs to advance these pikemen forward to start getting more kills here. This Praetorian cav ended up killing... what was that, the noble cavalry here out of Carthage, and they're going to keep moving up here on the left-hand flank. I wonder if they're going to chase or they're just going to go straight into the backs. Not sure. Makedon warrior here sending in all his units, trying to engage this this pike unit. This pike unit just barely routing now, but all his other units did get freed up, so he's going to have this whole right flank to himself. Libyan infantry are fighting the Soktai Extraordinaire. And if he can wrap these gladiators around to the backs, he's going to have this with relative ease. Praetorian Guard tying up 2 Libyan infantry. He needs to maybe divide forces here. Elephants making its way into the fight, fighting the Praetorian Guard. But this cavalry unit ended up routing all of the peltas, all of the missile units, and there's only 1 left now. And that's just what they've been doing. They already have 120 kills now for this unit. That is insane. Elephants trying to go back and forth to try to cause havoc, but they're not able to really breach and get the charge that they want. Rome pretty much won the whole center by using that flanking tactic that he was doing to pinch all of the African pike with relative ease. Now these Praetorian guards are going to get a big charge here into the back. Hopefully he's targeting the elephants so that all of the pillow throws do hit the elephants, because that is what they're weak against. But no, he's actually just charging in there, and he's going to slam into the back. But it looks like Achilles does see that and turn some of his units at the last second to countercharge. But I don't know if it was enough, because look at all of these leftover missile units here out of Rome. So many left. And it looks like Achilles is trying to make charges onto this general unit, trying to kill it as fast as possible to give himself an advantage. But at this point, it's a little too late. The gladiators here have engulfed the Libyan infantry that were tied up by 1 cavalry unit. And they're not going to last too much longer. As you can see, Carthage is just trying to survive with anything he has left. But he literally just got surrounded on every front. Every single engagement here, Rome had really good surrounds on him. Very good play out of Makedon warrior, showing us his micro and his ability to manipulate the battlefield. Not engaging anywhere where he had a disadvantage. Always trying to get flank attacks. Even right here, his opponent is showing backs to his archers, and the archers just getting free shots here into the backs of these units. And these units will be routing here very shortly. Elephants only 4 to 24 left, trying to stand firm, trying to hold on, but that is the only unit left. Looks like we have a GG out of Makedon, Achilles and Makedon warrior, so very well played. Makedon warrior is up 1-0 here, and he'll be up, so Achilles is going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to have to win this next one. And that is the match. So very well played, Makedon, getting really good surrounds. Well, that was very crazy to see. Makedon warrior literally just faking out these units of Achilles and getting really good back charges. So Achilles is hosting the next map. Oops. Okay, so Achilles is the host. He is going to pick this next map. We'll see what he decides to change up. possibly going Iceni and Epirus. We'll see what they decide to settle on. Both of them just trying to really counter each other, trying to figure out what they want to bring. So it looks like, yeah, he is going to pick a more woodland map. This is because Iceni gets a bonus in the woodland against their opponent. I'll show you once we get in game that these units really can just hide. Let me actually block this, since now that I know I'm gonna be spectator, I need to block that that unit window. Let me try something. Because we can now see the units, and I don't want it to be a disadvantage to one side. So that's going to block that. You guys have to remember, if I accidentally keep it up, someone has to spam PM me. Otherwise, I might accidentally have that in the battle. I'll try to remember. I'll be watching it. But if I don't, then I need instant feedback. So it looks like they are settling here. Iceni and Epirus. Makedon Warrior is ready, so he is going to stay with Epirus. And we're probably going to see an Iceni stay here out of Achilles. So Achilles here is looking to try to be very sneaky and very maneuverable and surprise his opponent here. And he should be able to pull it off with the with this really heavy woodland map. I've seen some crazy tactics here out of Iceni. Deploying your units in different areas so that your opponent doesn't know exactly where your army is. Strategies like deploying your army way far back, way to the sides, and advancing forward with maybe just your cav and just poking at your opponent initially. And after you know what your opponent has, after they start advancing on you, then you start revealing all of your hidden units. So Achilles is really going to put his micro to the test here, and let's see if he can pull it off, because he can if he's very, very careful at managing his units. And he needs to be on top of it. The battle has started here, so I'll take off that little sensor I put up. There we go. And we will have things underway here shortly. So once we see what I'm talking about with these units and their ability to pretty much sneak around the whole map. I guess I'll have to show you the units first. So Iceni's units pretty much allow for... See, watch. They have this woodland... right here, hide in forest, and this allows their unit to hide in forest until the enemy gets really close, and that distance is actually, if I had to show you, it would be from like this tree to this tree. That's how close your opponent has to be in order to spot you if you're hiding in forest. Let's see if he does utilize it well. What he needs to do probably is hide units here in the backs and just do like an unorthodox sort of style where you just hide a lot of your units way in the backs, scout with your initial horses, try to get some damage in, force your opponent to come to you, and then after he starts coming in, then you start springing all of your hidden units, because Rome 2 works with line of sight. I'm sure all of you guys know this by now, and there's a really big play now on being able to spot your opponents. So it looks here, Iceni is actually just gonna start here in the open, reveal himself to his opponent. So here in the south side of the minimap, we have Iceni, played by Achilles, and it looks like he's bringing a good amount of slingers, as well as 4 cav here hidden in the back. And here in the north side of the map, we have tons of Hellenic Royal Guard here out of Epirus here, out of Makedon Warrior. and a fair amount of companion cap, so he's just going to play a typical style here. 4 Hellenic Royal Guard, and then just the rest support of little hoplite units. And let's see how he pulls this off. He did bring elephants here, so these guys will cause a lot of damage to the lines. And so he's going to be moving up here with his cavalry. I'm surprised both guys aren't doing that. Achilles, okay, he's now sending his... He has chariots here. Hopefully let's see some cool damage out of those guys. And a lot of just sneaky units here moving up the sides of the battle. Achilles trying to feint that this is his whole army. Obviously, Makedon knows that there's got to be at least some more cavalry units. So he's probably able to figure that out. But he's just going to advance straight forward onto his opponent here. Not really caring. Lots of shots now going in with all these slingers. All these slingers are going to have to do a lot of throws in order to start taking kills. But they're already actually taking 10 casualties. Wow, that's very interesting to see. Elephants moving straight in. He knows there's no pikes here. He needs to switch these slingers to start hitting these elephants. Elephants are going to make their way straight through here into the line. And let's see if these heroic nobles can hold on against these elephants. Are they going to get Pila throws before they engage? No, he's just going to... Yeah, they are. Barely, but not enough. Elephants charging straight into the battlefield, tearing through all of these heroic nobles. And it's going to force him, Iceni, to retreat all the way back. And now Epir is just taking the fight to Iceni, engaging on all fronts, which is going to force Achilles to engage. But Makedon Warrior knows this, so he puts all his units in their pike line, and he's just going to pike forward now that he has his whole line tied down. This elephant isn't going to last too long, but it did its job by tying down all of these units, getting 31 kills. Not too bad, but not too good as well. They're still here. Hopefully they don't go in frenzy and end up killing all of his pikes. But he has to advance his pikes forward here into the fight. And Epirus just not allowing Iceni to play a sneaky tactic, just bringing his forces straight into the gut, charging straight at the initial forces of Iceni, hoping that he could break him with relative ease. A lot of these units getting caught now. Ambusher. These guys need to start running into the fight and get flanks. They sort of are, but all these Hellenic Royal Guards are really going to hold this whole front line from their opponent. The heroic nobles here are all dying now because of the pike line. The pike line is just going to hold. And Iceni is engaging it straight on without using his slingers. All his slingers here in the back are just getting devastated by the cavalry. This cavalry already at 125 kills and climbing, taking out all of the ballista, or all the slingers. Heroic riders now trying to make their way to save the units, but it's too late. All of them are already routed. These heroic riders were chasing these guys the whole time, and now finally able to catch them, but only after all of the slingers were taken out. But now here, all of the units. What is this dance in circle? Look at this. Is there like a unit in the center that they're all trying to target? Looks like we have a dancing ball of death here, spiky ball from this Hellenic Royal Guard, trying to utilize their scary tactic to get. Look at this unit. It's so funny. Finally breaking open. I think he realized that, so he set him in a long line. This chariot guy can't get through. And Iceni is just so pinched everywhere. Hellenic Royal Guards are at his fronts and his sides. I don't know how much longer he's able to stay here and survive. The chariots here did get routed very quickly because they charged straight into those units. You see all the dead chariots left over. And there's only heroic nobles here trying to fight 3 Hellenic Royal Guard. Now the cap fight over here is going in favor of Iceni, but not for too long because Hoplites now did make it into the fight. He is going to pull out with these heroic riders because he knows those Hoplites are very devastating, and he needs to get these units around quickly and charge the backs of all of Epirus' units before his units rout. They're only going to last so much longer, and he needs to get that charge very quickly. Look at this box engulf by Makedon Warrior. He knows how to maneuver his units such that he gets perfect engulfed, perfect surrounds, so that this unit is under a heavy, heavy attack. Noble horses trying to make their way all the way around, but it might be too late here now because these hoplites getting into the backs of these units, as well as the companion cap here freeing themselves up. Are they going to go for this heroic noble and take it out, or are they just going to go for the rest of this back? Look at Epirus' surround. This 2 units completely surrounding this one. Hoplite unit here spreading completely thin, able to completely cut off the retreat of these heroic nobles. Makedon Warrior really showing to us how well he can play and how well he can maneuver his units. These heroic riders did try to get charges in, but with the amount of force and the density of these units, they're not going to get too much kills because there's just not much left. And these heroic riders now still charging to do whatever they can, but it's too late here because all of their infantry have already routed. So Epirus can just turn his units to engage. This heroic noble just sitting there and trying to fight, but I don't know what they're doing. I think he's pretty much gave up at this point because he knows it's over, and he's going to try to do whatever he can to survive. But look at Makedon Warrior, seriously, just able to surround these units. And the last of Icenia's units here will rout. And that is going to be it. Just